Yeah. Now you can start showing me your homework. What was the homework? Please share your screen. Just a minute. Yeah. Show me the homework. So I have said that you need to enable the autosave button. Autosave in the VS Code. There is one functionality where you can autosave. Yeah, day 7 and 8, right? Homework day 7 and 8. Yeah, show me.
Compare and contrast the background size, cover, and content properties. Provide example of where each is used.
Okay.
Class flow,
Mm-hmm.
height, width, and then background size is content.
Okay.
There is a whole image.
Okay.
There is a spread and cross image.
Okay. Got it. Next part.
Secondly, create a web page with a background image
Mm-hmm.
that remains picture and the user use the background attachment picture.
Okay.
This is the background image and this is the content.
Uh-huh.
When I scroll the content, the background image is fixed.
Yeah, correct. So show me the CSS. Okay, background image URL this. Attachment is fixed. Correct. So you got the idea, right? What is the background
Yes.
attachment? Okay.
Third side and completed.
Investigate the concept of what?
Yes. The concept is first to image and explain how the picture and element can be used for different uses. Means laptop. The one image is display the laptop before
Okay.
for different functions. I can try.
Investigate the concept of responsive images and explain how picture element can be used. Okay. So I told you this was a little bit advanced, but you should have tried it. At least you should have tried it.
Today I will.
Okay. Go ahead.
Third is research and explain the difference between absolute
Uh-huh.
and relative dimension and it's English giving example of way to use
Which dimension unit? Research and explain the difference between absolute and relative CSS dimension units. Giving example when to use each. Okay. Go ahead.
I can use in this way.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Uh, first is pixel, inch, and viewport.
Okay.
EM and REM.
So what is EM and REM?
The EM and REM is the
What is EM?
related to the font size of the event.
Related to what?
Related to the font size of the event.
Which element? Half answer. If you answer like this, interviewer will not select you. This is the half answer. What is the EM? Say that again.
Related to the font size of the event.
Which element?
Parent element.
Yeah. So in this whole sentence, parent is important. If you don't say parent, right, you won't be getting selected. What is REM?
The related to the root element font size.
Okay. What is VH and VW?
VF is the viewport of height and VW is the viewport of width.
What is a viewport?
Viewport is visual screen.
Mm-hmm.
Viewport height, which is the readable screen height, and VW is the readable screen width.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Now you can show me homework tomorrow. Okay. Complete it and show me tomorrow. I got the idea about your homework. Let's start the session. So, in the last session, what we have, where we have reached. Yeah, please stop the sharing. So, we have reached to the background properties and I have given homework. Right? So, we have reached, yeah, we have reached to this topic, background properties. We have reached to this topic, background properties. And I have given homework. Okay. Now tomorrow you will tell me which properties you have studied. So it is like I will ask you the name of the property, right? I will ask you name of the property. You need to give me the explanation. I will write it over here. This is how we will complete this topic. It is your research. Okay. Hello.
Yes.
So tomorrow you will list the properties by tomorrow. By you already have implemented few of them, and you need to add few more into that. Even in the last session, I have told you few background properties, right? Yeah. So in this way, we will complete this topic tomorrow. Correct? You will tell me. I can write it immediately, right away, but I don't want to do that thing. You will do it on your own. Okay. Now, colors. How do you work with the CSS3 colors? How do you work with CSS3 colors? So when you talk about the colors, remember that colors are very basic. CSS, you can say color related yeah. So I want to give some colors to my division and other thing. Let's do in this way. Now so what I wanted to do, you get my voice clearly, right?
Yes.
Okay. So today is the 9th day, correct?
Yes.
day 09, and let's create color.html, and here you can say color.css, color.html, color.css. So we can say color properties, and let's import link rel css color.css, link rel css color.css, correct? So I can have a red dot box width colon 200 pixels, height colon 300 pixels, 300 by 300 box we would be needing div. So I have question for you. Are you typing all these codes? So whatever codes I am typing and pushing on the Git,
Yes.
are you typing that codes?
Yes.
First you need to type those codes and then homework,
Yes.
right? So do not skip these codes. Please type it. Whatever I have typed, you need to type the same codes. So here we can say class, and we can say red box, and inside this h1 we can say hello, or we can say this is a red box. This is what? Red box. Colors. Now let us see the output. We have imported the CSS, reveal in the finder. Yeah, this is red box, but red color is not there. How do you give a color? See, background color is red, so you can give a background color in this way, right? You can give a background color in this way, like this, red, right? Or same line can be written in this way, background color hash ff0000. This is a HTML color coding, hex color coding. So how this thing works exactly? Let me explain you how this thing works. Let me explain you by means of whiteboard. So we have, consider that this is your hash, right? ff0000, correct? This is what I have written, hash ff0000. Now what is this? What is this? Just a minute. So when you talk about when you talk about these things, so here we are providing the sensitivities or intensities. So in this, if you can see, first two is one thing, it represents one color. This represents one color. This represents one color. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes.
So, so, so first remember that all the colors on the planet are the mixture of three things. RGB, correct? Red. All the colors, whatever colors you are generating on this planet, all of them are a mixture of these three basic colors: red, green, and blue. And that's what this hexadecimal color coding is showing you. So this scheme is called as hexadecimal color coding. What it is called as? Where 00 represents black. So I will show you. So if you say all zero, so so first thing, so first thing represents, first two digits represents red, second two digits represents green, and third two digits represents blue. And you can give the intensity over here. So all zero. What do you mean by all zeros? Refresh it over here and you will see it's a black. All zeros, it's a black. Now all, so hexadecimal ranges from 0 to F, 00 to FF, right? A base is 00. So you are from electronics background, right? Hello? You are from electronics background, correct? Electrical. So you know the hexadecimal numbers or not? Huh? Yeah. So hexadecimal numbers range from 00 to FF. Okay. So if all F's are there, this is a white. This is a white, correct? 00, all RGBs are 0. This is a basic color scheme. Yes or no? If if there is a no red, no green, no blue, it's a black color. Hello? It's a black color. If you add red, green, and blue together, it becomes white. Correct? That's what the hexadecimal colors coding is. So when you talk about this, color coding, it's a hex color coding, and you provide the intensity. So if you say FF and 1 2 and you can say 4 5, can you see this color would be getting generated in the red, in the kind of red area? Can you see this? You can try anything. So you can say 0 0 and 4 5. 0 0 4 5. Refresh it, same, there won't be any change. And if you can say 0 6, so because of this first FF, this is happening. Now just make this also and 0 0. See, yellow color would be getting generated. So we have studied in the school, if you add red and green, it becomes yellow, correct? If you add red in green, it becomes yellow. So in this way, colors are getting created by means of the hex color coding. So this is one way. Well, in the hex color coding, there is a one more parameter over here. We can say 0, 0 0. So transparency, can you see? There is less transparent. 0 0 means less transparent. I can say 1F and then say or you can say EE. Just a minute. Or FF. Just say FF. Am I making any mistake? Just a minute. Opacity. So okay, so it is not at the beginning, but it would be at the end. So here you can say 60. You can say what? 60. A 60% opaque. Can you see? Not in the beginning, but at the last you need to add one number, 60%. So here you can say 30% more thinner. Can you see? Color would be there. If you remove it, it's 100% opaque, which means that visible, 100% visible. If you can say 10% visible, it's there, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So we have seen the two ways of adding the colors. Two ways of adding the colors. Now, now, next way of doing this thing is background color. You can say next way of doing this thing, background color, RGB. Can you see RGB? Red, green, blue. So here you can write the numbers. See, numbers ranges from 00, 000 or 0 to 255. So if you want to make a red active, 255, 0 and 0, which is a red color, correct? RGB 25500. Same thing like this. Here you are using hexadecimal color coding, and here you are using more understandable values. So RGB is a function in the CSS3 that helps you mentioning the colors. So you can add any number between any number for this digits between 0 to 255. 0 means black, 255 means white. 0 to 255. Correct? Okay. Now let's move ahead. Now let's move ahead with so here also I will show you one more color. Just a minute. 255, 125 and 111. Okay, it will create one color. Refresh it. Can you see some color in the red? It has created some color in the red. 255, 125, 111. Right? You can give the background opacity also the way we have given. Just give for better understanding. We can say 25500 and 0. Here we can say 0.1% and refresh it. Same thing. So here we have written 10 and here we have written 0.1. 1 and say alpha value we can say. So this only, so I can comment, copy this. If you remove this over here, if you remove this over here, so this is RGBA. So another function you need to call RGBA. RGBA,
A.
alpha value, same thing, this opacity. So if you give 1, fully opaque, which is red, correct? So this is how you can give colors in this form. You can give colors in the CSS3, right? Now we have seen background color attribute. Let's give foreground color attribute. How do you give a foreground color? Simply color, and we can say white. You can give any function, hex value or anything. Just refresh it. Can you see this becomes white? Correct? If it is a foreground color, simply color. Now I want to give a border color. This is also property related to this, and we can say blue. For this we need to add a border. It's a, when you say border, we add color here itself, right? 1px solid blue. But there are different ways of doing this thing, right? Some blue border has been added. So you can give different colors to the different things as well. Means you can give top border, bottom border different color, right border different color, top border different color, left border different color, right? Now I want to add some shadow to this box. So it's also part of color, box shadow. Can you see box shadow? 2px, we can say 4px, 2px, 4px, and RGBA we can give 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 and 0.5, box shadow. Can you see little shadow have appeared over here? So if you give a 20px, 40px, see what happens? Can you see shadow gets wider? Can you see that? Now when you say box shadow, box shadow, at the end you need to give what you can say, this RGBA. That's why I have given one example. Yeah, I will explain what do you mean by 20px, 20px, 40px. Okay. So here you can see, so when you talk about the box shadow in the CSS3 colors, and let's create a new page, shadow. Sorry. I need to delete this. Shadow. Okay. So what is shadow? We will see that. Shadow, you know what do you mean by shadow, right? So when you talk about the box shadow, these parameters, when you talk about these parameters, 20 px, horizontal shadow 20 px, vertical shadow, blur effect, right? How much blur you would be needing? If you give 100 per 100, if you need the 100, just a minute, if you need the 100 px, so it would be spread 100 px. So just refresh it. Can you see this? The effect is 100 px spread, right? If you give 200 px, 200 px, height of the shadow, can you see little bit increased? And shadow is appearing over here. Because of this, now here I can make 10 px and refresh it. See here. So what's happening over here? It's a shadow, right? If you say 1 px, see what's happening over here. It's becoming more and more dark, right? It is becoming more and more dark. So if you give 0, it is like this. If you give 0.54, it would be disappeared. 0.1, here we can say 1 px. One more attribute is there, but for now it is okay to understand this. 10 px, just refresh it. See, blur, can you see blur effect? It is what? The blur effect. Blur effect. The moment you increase the value, the blur effect gets increased. Make 50. Make 50. Can you see? Again, blur would be getting increased, right? So 200 px, 200 px, 200 px, 200 px, vertical 200 px, sorry, horizontal 200 px, vertical 200 px, right? And the shadow color is a black. You can change it to the red also, 255, right? Refresh it. Your shadow color becomes red. Now, if you want to take near to this box, you need to reduce these values, 20 px, 20 px, and shadow would be the 50 px. Can you see? So it will look like this. Shadow. Correct? Any questions? So this border color we have seen. And see, there are a lot of CSS properties. There are lot of CSS properties, right? We cannot cover everything, but basic, once you understand how to use them, you can search any CSS property and you can learn. So you'll ask me question, where should we search the CSS properties? Google it. Okay. So I will push the code, go through the code in a minute, right? So CSS3, we can say color and shadow. Just go through the code in 1 minute. Done? Done or not? Okay. So two properties related to the color we have seen. Sorry, three: background color, color, and the box shadow. So I have used the color over here. That's why I have covered box shadow. So you can use this function or hex value over here. So you can understand what's the box shadow. Okay. Now, similarly, box shadow, there is a text shadow also, right? Now, now there are the properties. So I can comment this out. Sorry. Color inherit. So when you say inherit, it will inherit from the parent's color property, right? See here, parent's color. Who is a parent of this div? Body. What's the color of the body? Black. That's why it's inherit. That's why it's a black over here, right? So something about color we have studied. Let us see now. Let us see. Go in the color. And in a color we have seen few color properties. Few color properties. But before understanding color, we need to understand hex values. Color or H1 we can say. H1 hex values. Then H1 CSS3 function, right? So let us see what are the hex values. The color coding, the color code see this model. The color coding scheme #FFF represent the color in the RGB red green color model. This one. In this model, colors are created by colors are in this model colors are created by combining the different intensities of the red, green, and the blue light. Each component represented by the hexadecimal base, that is a base 16 value ranging from 00 to FF. 00 to FF. See here. Each component is represented by hexadecimal base, that is a base 16, value ranging from 00 to FF, where 00 represents no intensity and FF represents full intensity, right? Hello? Example, hash FF0000. The first two words FF, let us write it. The first two words FF represent the intensity of red. The next two words represent the intensity of green. The last two characters represent the intensity of blue. Right? Intensity of the blue. The combination result in the vivid shade of the red. See, the above combination, the combination results in a vivid shade of the red, which is commonly referred as a pure red or the hex red. The absence of the green and blue intensity, here you can say the absence of green and blue intensity makes this color appear as a strong, vibrant red. In some color systems, right? In some color systems, this specific shade of the red is often associated with warning signs, alerts, attention grabbing elements due to the eye catching nature. Hello? Hex values. Now CSS3 function. Okay, in the hex values, we need to add one more thing over here. We need to add one more thing over here. One more example we can add. Example and say 10. So here you can say, if you want to add the alpha value, if you want to add the opacity, let's say 50%. So you need to write, you can say 50 over here. If you want to add an opacity of the, let's say 50%, you can use the RGB notation like this. Here I can say 50 hash ff this, and at the last you can add what, 50. So what it represents now, red full intensity ff, green no intensity 00, blue no intensity 00, and opacity 50% is this. Opacity 50% is 50. This would result in the semi-transparent. Sorry. This would result in semi-transparent red color. This would result in the semi-transparent red color. Keep in mind that opacity values ranges from 00 fully transparent to FF opaque, and that's why 50 over here, if you want to make a 50, it would be 80 in this case, right? Because it's not, you can say it's not a decimal over here. Hello? This is not the decimal value. If I said earlier this is 80 means 80%, it's not like that. The whole number is actually hexadecimal number. So 50%. So values are ranges from 00 to FF, right? And in between that 50% is 80. So if you want to make it 50%, so here you need to have 80, correct? 80 is 50 in the hex number. Yes or no? So you can adjust the opacity. So you can adjust the opacity to achieve the desired level of the transparency. Okay. Okay, so this is one color we have seen. another color can be created by means of CSS functions, right? Hello? CSS3 functions. Now there is one function called as RGBA function. There is one function called as RGBA function. So in the RGBA function, what we do? So the RGBA function in the CSS, this is another color model actually. The RGBA function is the CSS, just say RGB. In the CSS is used to define the color value using the RGBA, red, green, blue, alpha color model. Alpha stands for opacity. Okay. This model includes 3 color components and 1 alpha component for the transparency. This model includes 3 color components, red, green, blue, and an alpha component that represents the opacity. The alpha component allows you to control how transparent, see now, the alpha component allows you to control how transparent or opaque color is, which starts from 0 and 0 to 1. The values you need to pass between 0 to 1, right? Hello? Example. Let's have an example. Example would be like this: RGBA over here. In here, you can say the color in here, the color property of the element is set to the okay. Before taking example, just we need to add these things. So the red, green, and the blue values will range from 0 to 255. Let's add those things as well. Red, green values, these values, the values for the red, green, blue, these values are for the red, green, blue color components. They are the values for red, green, and blue components are integers and ranging from 0 to 255, right? Or ranging from 0 to 100%, or ranging from 0 to 100%. Alpha value, this alpha value range from 0 to 1. 0 to 1. The alpha value the alpha component that controls the opacity, it is the decimal value ranging from 0 to 1. 0 fully transparent, 1 fully opaque. Okay. Now here in this example, here you can say the color property of an element is set to the red color because of this 255. In the example, color property of an element is set to the red color with the 50% of the opacity, making the text somewhat transparent. Hello? So this is what another CSS3 function, RGBA, and hex values. So color can be manipulated in these, mostly in these 2 ways. Colors can be manipulated mostly in these 2 ways. Now some color properties we can say, H1, some color properties. So what things we have seen? We have seen color is one property. Foreground color. Foreground color sets the color of the text. Remember that. Then background color. background color, sets the background color of an element, border color, and there are a lot of other properties are there in which you can use either this hex value model or the CSS3 function model, right? Box shadow. Box shadow. And there are a lot of other properties are available. Outline color, text color, right? A lot of things are there. Okay. So this is about what you can say few color properties we have seen. Box shadow. We can create the box shadow. So the box shadow property in the CSS notes is a very important thing, right? You might have realized. So whenever you start studying on your own, notes plays the vital role, correct? Recordings and the notes. So are you revising the recordings or not? Say that again. Are you revising the recordings on the YouTube or not? Okay. So that is also important. So whenever you start studying, first recording should be on. Batch recording should be on first. So you will watch the batch recording, type the code. You will watch the batch recording, type the code. Right now, don't do anything. Just review the notes and ask me the questions. See the code and ask me the questions. But whenever you study on your own after the session, you need to go video by video. Okay? Fine. The box shadow property in the CSS would be like this. It's a powerful property. Here you can say that it's a powerful property that can enhance the visual appearance of the elements and provide depth in the web design. The shadow effect can simulate the light source. See, the shadow effect can simulate a light source casting a shadow behind the element, giving the three-dimensional quality, right? And the box shadow properties has following syntax. Box shadow property has this syntax: horizontal shadow, vertical shadow, blur, sprayed color, inset. Right? Now, horizontal shadow. What do you mean by? We already have seen all these things, right? Horizontal shadow. The horizontal offset of the shadow from the elements box, the positive values move the shadow towards right while negative values move shadow towards left. Now up and down. Horizontal shadow. So vertical shadow is up and down. You can move the shadow up and down. Positive values towards the downwards while negative values towards the upward, right? Blur. Optional value. Here you can say optional value. Values define the amount of blur applied on the shadow. A larger the value, create more diffuse. Softer the value, and softer values. Use 0 for no blur. 0 for no blur. Sprayed is also optional. Blur, sprayed, blur, sprayed. This is the optional value that defines size of the shadow sprayed. Positive value expands the shadow. Negative value contracts the shadow. Then color. color, right? So this is the color of the shadow. You can use named color model. Okay, we have not seen one color model, a named color model. So hex value in this thing we have seen. I will add one more color model, named color model. Name itself is suggesting what do you mean by named color model, right? You can give a name of, so do you remember we were giving the names red, antique blue, right? And there are a lot of, so named color model in the CSS. So this is a fundamental, that's why I didn't cover, but it's okay to write it. The named color model in the CSS allows you to use a set of predefined color names to specify colors in the style sheet. These color names provides a convenient way, right? Convenient way without needing to remember and calculate their hexadecimal and RGB values, right? This is the convenient way, so you don't need to remember anything. These color names provide a convenient way to reference colors without needing to remember and calculate their hexadecimal values. Here are few examples of that. First, red represents the red. Red. Green. Sorry. Red. Green. Blue. Yellow. Purple. These are some common colors. There are a lot of other as well, right? Cadet blue and like that. Named color. Now using these colors, using the named color is a straightforward and helps to improve the readability of your CSS code, especially when working with the common colors. However, it is not covering all the things, remember that. However, it is important to note that named colors are case insensitive, so you can either use them lower or the uppercase. Now, named colors may not cover every single shade. Named colors might not cover every shade or the variation you need. So you might still need to use other color models like hexadecimal, RGBA, RGB to achieve these things, right? So this is what the named color model. I deliberately have skipped that part because it's pretty easy to understand. But the sentence has given over here in the shadow. They have said. Now there is a one more hue saturation level, HSL value, which is not required right now. Right? So if you can see, you can use either named color model, hexadecimal color model, RGB or HSL value. Can you see HSL value? Hue saturation lightness. Hue saturation lightness. It will you can say this is a kind of a color model only, right? But not mostly used. We mostly use which color models? Named color model, hex values, and the CSS3 function. Now, now, okay, just a minute. Let's talk about HSL also now. Okay, for HSL, we need to know something else as well. Let's park this topic for some other day, but I will cover HSA as well. Okay, but as far as, see, we can go to the lot of deeper level in the CSS, no problem. But as far as the basic things, or as far as not basics, you can say required things, you need to know the named color model, hex values, and CSS3 RGBA function. RGBA function. So I will write other function also. This is also color model. Remember that. It's a function. It's a function. Here you can say HSL, HSL, and A for alpha, HSLA function. How this works, we will see. Don't worry. Okay. But as far as required things are concerned, these three things are important. You can use this model as well. We'll talk about that later on. Because I'm in the box shadow right now. Okay. So we have seen box shadow, horizontal shadow, vertical shadow, blur effect, sprayed color, right? We have reached to the color, and now inset value. So when you talk about inset value, what is inset value? So this is the optional thing. This is an optional keyword that changes the shadow to be an inner shadow. See, inset, inner shadow. Presently our shadow is outer shadow. Shadow is appearing out of the element. This is an optional keyword that changes the shadow to be an inner shadow. Inner shadow. When it is used, it creates the illusion that element is being pressed. Remember that inset means what? Element is being pressed or suck into the web page, or suck into the web page. Now, 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 so what thing we have used in our code? Let us see. So this is a horizontal, vertical. This is a horizontal, vertical, and what you can say, this is a blur, and this is color. Now we can say inner red box, inner hyphen red box, and you can add inset, inner red box. Now shadow color, let's change it to black. Can you see? It is like the box is pressed. Can you see? Shadow is inside here, shadow is outside. It is like pressed. It is not pressed, but it is like pressed. Correct?
Yes, sir.
and say one fully transparent shadow. Can you see inside? That's what the inset is. Everything is same. Correct? Inset. So this is how your box shadows, this is how your box shadows, you can say, and other CSS properties will work. So I can say box shadow example. I'm getting little background noise from your end. Yeah. So CSS3, we have seen shadow. Now let's work on another topic, fonts. H1, we can, sorry, not H1, we need to have a page. Fonts. Now let's go here, and here we can say fnt.html, and here we can say fnt.css, fnt.html, fonts. So we might need 2 sessions for working with the fonts. Hello? As per my plan, we might need 2 sessions for the fonts. So let's have a paragraph and some random text, lorem ipsum. Random text I have added. Now, what we need to do here, so what we need to do here, font, can you see font related things? How many are the font related things available? Now, font size, font family, right? If you see here, font family, and then font family, then font weight, font style. Let's go to the font family, and can you see how many font families are there? Courier New, Franklin, Gill Sans, Calibri, Times New Roman, right? Well, you can create other fonts as well. Now this thing is called as stacking. Preference is given, right? Font stacks are the list of the fonts. If font is not available, browser will try to attempt the next font in the list. If this not available, it will try to get this. If this not available, this not this. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how to create the custom fonts, we will see. Can you see the font has been little bit changed, right? So inspect it, and this section, can you see here font? If I remove it, something different will happen. Can you see that? Tick bar means available, and this is not available. Correct? Font family. We have seen what? Font family. Now you can add something called as font weight. Font weight, say 700. Now see what happens. Refresh it. Little bit bolder. Can you see that? Font style. Font style. Italic. Can you see? Italic. Can you see that? Italic. So when you talk about font, the important thing about the font is you need to define the font family first, and then weight and the style. Weight and the style. So what is the font family? So when you talk about the font family, it's a group of fonts. Browser will choose as per the availability, right? Browser will choose as per the availability. If font is available, browser will choose that. If font is not available, next font in the list would be getting selected. Now CSS3 allows you to create a custom fonts. We can download the fonts. Okay, we can download the font and we can place it in our fonts folder, and CSS3 can allow us to use that font. That is also possible. Correct? So font family. So we have seen three properties: font family, font weight, and font style. So when you talk about the font family, let's go here. Font family. First attribute, font family. This property specifies hello, the font family property specifies the font family or the typeface to be used for displaying text within the element. It allows you to specify the fonts. It allows you to specify a list of fonts in order of the preference separated by comma. If the preferred font is not available, it will use next in the family. Correct? Hello? Yeah. So you are there, right? Yeah. In this example, browser will attempt to use the Arial font in the beginning. In this example, browser will try to use the Arial font in the beginning. If it is not available, it will go to the Helvetica. Correct? Then we have font weight. So the font weight property The font weight property controls the thickness or boldness of the text characters. It can be set in the numeric values or the keywords. Can you see? It can be set to different numeric values or the keywords. So different numeric values are common keywords, sorry. Common keywords are normal, bold, bolder, lighter, right? And what? Lighter. And numeric values ranging from 100 to 900. See here, numeric values ranges from numeric values ranges from 100 thin to the 900 extra bold, right? That's what the font family. Now, sorry, that's what the font weight is. Now, font style. So, three attributes we have used. Font style. So, here we can say the font style property specifies whether the text should be displayed in a normal, italic, or the oblique style, right? And it gets some common values like normal, then italic, and oblique, right? These three are the common values we have. These three are the common values we have. Well, there are a lot of other values available over there. Lot of other values related to the fonts are available over there. Even we need to see, or we can say some basic properties. H1, fundamental properties, or few basic properties. H1, here we can say using custom fonts, that we will see tomorrow. Using what? Custom fonts. So how do we use that? That we will see. So font family, font style, and here you can say font size. Can you see? Large, larger, medium, extra large, or we can say 23 px font. It's bad, we can say 2em font size, 2em. Can you see? 2em. Then well, you can add 32 em would be too much bigger. If you see, it's a lot of bigger, right? So let's not give this much, say 3 em. It would be like this. So when you say font size, when you say font size, font just a minute. Okay, font size. The font size property determines the size of the text characters. Hello? Size of the text characters within an element. It specifies the size of the font in the units such as the pixels and other thing. Right? That's what we have seen. Now, when you talk about custom fonts, tomorrow we are going to download some fonts from the internet. We are going to place in one of the folder called as fonts, and we will try to use that. Okay? Then tomorrow I would like to cover one more concept. H1, not H1, sorry, it's a page, and here I would like to say scroll bars or overflow. Scroll bars. Okay? Scroll bars. Very important thing we need to have. Then we have seen the measuring units. We have seen the box layout, right? And the scroll bars is very important topic. How exactly this work we will see. Okay? Fine. Then I would like to move ahead with flexbox and the grid layout. Very, very important topic. Extremely important topic. That is nothing but what? Flexbox and the grid layout. Okay? Yeah. So let's call it for a day. We'll meet tomorrow. Fine? Yeah. I have pushed the codes, so I'm pushing it. Fonts. Basics of fonts. So tomorrow we will see how to add the custom font. Fine? Thank you. Let's call it for a day. We'll meet tomorrow. I'm disconnecting.